One last thing about Afghanistan. I'm going to right now tell you something that is literally the single worst thing I've ever heard in my life. And I'm sorry to do this. And I'm not doing this for dramatic effect. I'm doing it because if you don't know, you have to understand what's going on over there. Joe Biden and people on the left, some people on the left are saying they're now getting the government they deserve. Essentially, this is what they wanted, or they're not willing to fight against this. By the way, the median age of an Afghani right now is 18 and a half years old. Median age, 18 and a half years old. That means they weren't alive under Taliban rule, the median age, the majority of people in the population. This is unbelievable. And so we say that they're getting most of these people grew up especially in the urban areas, more like we did. They went to cafes like Starbucks. Women sometimes covered their hair, sometimes they didn't. There were no burqas. Women went to school. Women went to university. They had jobs. They were doctors. And now we're sending them back to the Stone Age. 8th century cavemen are going to rule over them. Women are off the streets. And so I want you to know how bad this is. Footage has actually emerged of Afghan mothers throwing their babies over barbed wire at the Kabul airport as they begged the British troops to save them. I can't even imagine. This is what a parachute regiment officer told the UK's Independent. The mothers were desperate. They're getting beaten by the Taliban. They shouted, "Save my baby," and they threw the babies at us over razor wire. Some of the babies fell on the barbed wire, a parachute regiment officer told the UK's Independent. It was awful what happened. By the end of the night, there wasn't one man among us who was not crying. Your president, our president, did that. Those babies, those mothers should haunt his nightmares for the rest of his days, but they won't because the man has no conscience. He did say he was having trouble sleeping, and since he was having trouble sleeping, that's why he went to Delaware to vacation this weekend, because he was having trouble sleeping at the White House. He should, because he should picture those babies. He should picture them being thrown over the wire. I just can't even imagine what that's like. Producer G, I think we have one of these photos. I'm sorry for showing this to you, Producer G. Look at that photo. Look at the razor wire with clothing in it. Look at that baby being handed up. What in God's name has to go on in a society? What do they have to be facing for a mother to do that to her baby, or a father to do that to her baby? They know, because they know they're facing certain death, or worse, sexual slavery, torture, genocide. That's what they're facing. That's what causes a mother to do that. And that's what Joe Biden has done to the Afghan people. And it's on us. That bloodstain is on our hands. Look at that picture of that baby and let that burn into your heart. Let that burn into your psyche. You remember what we're facing, because we're facing evil. This is not just a political thing. This is not a partisan thing. This is not me versus Joe Biden or you versus Democrats or anything like that. This is evil in our own country, in the White House. Evil. This is evil of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. This is evil of all these spokespeople defending this stuff and pretending that these horrors are not going on because we caused them, because we're holding back our fighting forces. Right now, billions of dollars of military equipment in the hands of the Taliban. We ought to turn all of that to glass. In 5 minutes, we could target them. Our destroyers, we could target them with everything we've got. We should wipe out every Taliban in that country now, today, at this moment. While we still have the intel, because soon we won't have any intel. Soon that will be a black hole. And soon that will be a staging ground for terrorism. And soon Al-Qaeda will be back. And soon ISIS will be back. And I hate to predict this, but soon our homeland will be attacked again, because that's who they are and what they are. Joe Biden says they're going through an existential crisis and trying to decide what they want to be in the international community. That is a bunch of bull. You know what it is. 8th century cavemen who believe that women should be, at best, in burqas, trapped at home, not educated, sexual slaves. That's who they are. This is not about equivalent systems of morality. They're not moral people. They're evil people. Western civilization is superior to their civilization. We are superior people to them, not inherently, but because of our belief system. Because our belief system is based on Judeo-Christian values, not 8th century caveman values. They're evil. There's actually a war going on in America, a war for the future of the country. What's this country going to look like? And we intend to win this war. The person who decides what we're fighting about is the person who wins the fight. There is a war going on which we must define correctly between people who believe that those in Washington, D.C. should decide for all of us, and people who believe we should decide. We, the people, decide. So this project was founded with the idea that we're going to use Article 5 the way the founders gave it to us to restrain federal tyranny. We've got 2.2 million supporters on board, but we're just getting started. And we're going to come up with ideas that I can't even possibly imagine right now. We're at war over a very simple question. A question you should ask yourself all the time when you hear government doing anything. And that question is, who decides? So God bless you all. We'll see you next week on the Battle Cry. I'm here live in Philadelphia at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. When you hear the phrase lives, fortunes, and sacred honor, these are the folks we should think of, those who anonymously gave their lives. Well, today you have a chance to volunteer. You need to volunteer for conventionofstates.com, the movement that's going to save the country. These folks are willing to step up and give everything. We need you to give just a little bit. Go to conventionofstates.com and volunteer today.